for Wheeling University Athletics. I'm Zach Ziegler. It's time for the first edition of the Zac Bruney Show here in 2023. Currently joined by Wheeling University head football coach Zac Bruney. And Zach, you guys are getting ready to report to training camp here on August 5th. Talk about the preparation for camp and how you guys are feeling heading into year 6.
Well, the preparation has been good. I mean, the guys understand that, the summer is part of, a key component to get ready for the fall. We've had a really good amount of guys, a really good number of guys here all summer locally, and then some older guys now that are able to kind of be off campus and, find summer jobs. And we've had a good crew of guys working out throughout the summer. We've had a couple of accountability days where pretty much the entire team has been on campus to, do some working out, do some conditioning checks, do some skill work. So the preparation this summer has been good. We're excited to report on August 5th and head into camp. With the first practice on August 7th. So camp always provides a little bit of an unknown because you have this year we essentially have 50 new guys joining the program from a freshman standpoint. A few transfers sprinkled in, but we had a good number of mid-year transfers that come in because we had a pretty large senior class last year that finished up in the fall of 22. So our roster has turned over some, but we're excited to bring the returning guys back, get them going, and then bring the new guys into the fold pretty quickly.
And for you, looking at last year, you break the single-season win record again, go 7-4. Talk about last season and kind of how that's going to help you guys moving into this year having that experience.
Well, anytime you can compete at a high level and win games, I think it gives your guys confidence, right? And, we had a good season, our best season, to this point from a win-loss standpoint. I think, but it also left a kind of a taste of, wanting more because we were pretty, we lost some close games. We won some close games, which in the past we haven't been able to kind of break through and win too many close games. Last year we did win some close ball games. We lost a couple close ball games that we probably felt like we should have won too. So experience-wise, anytime you can have success, hopefully success breeds success as you continue to kind of grow and develop your program from year 1 to year 6 and beyond. So last season was a culmination of a lot of guys work for 5 years, because we had a good number of fifth-year players. We had a lot of guys back that had been with the program year 4 and 5, and we had a lot of new guys in the mix, guys that had waited their turn, and we're going to see that this fall too, where you'll see some names and faces that might be new from a game playing standpoint, but they have a lot of experience within our program. Our practices, our workouts, our meetings, our walkthroughs. So, and once you have an established program, and you can have some success year to year, the turnover for your players will always happen with graduating seniors and so on and so forth. But guys within your program then should be ready to step up and take the next step of, being key contributors, starters, special teams players, key backups, whatever the case may be.
And you mentioned some of those guys who are going to be stepping up in roles this year, like Elijah Young, for example. And you have some veterans on this team, even though you lost some last year. How big are they going to be in helping push this new recruiting class and keep the tradition going here in Wheeling football?
Well, the fifth-year guys with the experience that are back, offensively, we have, Eli's back, and he was part of kind of a two-headed monster backfield last year with Sai Ali. So Eli, will take on a bigger role, though, being a primary back, being a featured back. But we have some guys in the room that want to push to be that, 1B, 1C of the running back room. Javon Davis being back as a quarterback, starting quarterback for his second year, also a fifth-year player, has had experience at, his prior institution before coming here. Offensively, 4 of the 5 starting offensive linemen are back. Our tight end room, fullback room with Steve Felton and Zoe and, Justin Bradley, experienced guys from last fall that kind of broke through last year in competing for us a little bit more on game days. And then, the position on offense that might have new faces but not new faces within the program is the wide receiver room. So offensively, it's important to have older guys, but then it's also good to have guys that have been within the program that are hungry for that next step to, take that next proverbial step in contributing to your team, to your program from a starting standpoint, from a rotational standpoint, from a special team standpoint. But it's always nice to have seniors. And the last couple of years we finally have been able to have that. And, in 21 and 22, that predicated, more success than we had in the past because we had guys that were older, more mature, had gotten bigger, faster, and stronger through their development in our program.
Currently joined by Wheeling University head football coach Zac Bruney. And Zac, a little earlier you talked about the recruiting class that's coming in, one of your biggest rosters in program history this year. Talk about some of these new guys that are coming in and the impact you expect them to make.
Well, it's kind of hard to talk about particular guys and names that you think might, have opportunities to contribute until they actually get here in August. I will say that just overall we're really excited about the class that's coming in. Our roster number now is right around 150. And for most Division II schools, anywhere from 120 to 150, 160 is usually where you hit, and you have a good breakdown of your classes, your freshmen, your sophomores, your juniors, and your seniors, and then of course fifth-year guys and red shirts are incorporated in that as well. But overall, the total body of the freshman class, we won't actually know how good they can be until they actually show up and they start going through the process of, training camp and practices and learning. The biggest adjustment for first-year guys is learning what to do. It's not necessarily predicated on talent. It's not necessarily predicated on football experience. It's just being in a new system, being in a new offense, being in within a new defensive structure, having new special team schemes. So the guys that can contribute quicker in their career are usually the guys that have the talent to do so, but then also they pick up your schemes and your system pretty fast. You know what I mean? And that's the coach's job, and that's our job as coaches to try and to get them, acclimated and get them coached up and get them, learning what we're doing as fast as possible.
And for you, you've obviously been here since the beginning of the program back in 2018. Looking back and now seeing where the program is today, what pride do you take in the growth of this program and seeing how it's become a competitor here in the MEC?
Well, it's hard to start anything from ground zero, but I'm proud of the players that have been here and the coaches that have been here. Now we've had turnover on our roster, right? And we've had now seniors that, we have up over 50 guys that have now graduated from our program. We have guys that, have actually worked into getting their master's degrees, right? So educationally, guys being able to achieve, diplomas and get degrees, undergrad and in some cases now master's degrees, that's a point of pride. And then just working, anytime you have to work from, the bottom up and try to build something from the ground up, it's unique and it's different. Most coaching opportunities, head coaching wise, you go into a place that has been really good and their coach has moved on to another maybe bigger opportunity, or you're going into a program that, has been struggling, right? And, the bad thing sometimes about the coaching world is guys get fired, right? And you have to go in and you have to fix a bunch of things. Our program is unique in the fact that we just started it from, the ground level. No players, no coaches. The coaching staff was hired. The initial recruiting class came in. We've gone through the struggles just like everybody else has of being a very young team for a couple of years, having to battle the unknown of COVID and kind of make it through that. But I think now that we're established, year 5, year 6, and beyond, you're kind of where you want to be. You know what I mean? You want to have the opportunity now to win every game that you're in, right? And have a team and a roster and a program that is consistent in everything that they're doing on the field and off the field. and then hopefully that will lead you to opportunities to a point where we want to compete for championships, within the conference. And then, the Division II system is a little different than the Division I system and the Division III system, but there is a playoff system, in our division. You want to do well regionally. You want to give yourself enough opportunities to win enough ball games to be recognized and be ranked regionally. And then if that can happen, then hopefully you would have an opportunity to make the playoffs, based on your wins and your losses and your strength of schedule. So where we started to where we're at right now has been a hard road. It's been a unique road, but I think any guy that's been participated and has seen it through his entire career, or he's transferred in and gotten his degree and hopefully is going to better his life in the long term. Hopefully Wheeling football has had a positive impact on him.
And finally, as you guys get into this camp, talk about some of your goals for your camp this year as you guys get ready for Seton Hill here at the beginning of the year.
Well, goal-wise, I think it's you're preparing. Camp is pretty unique. You got to get everybody here. You want to get your schematics installed quickly, but then you also want to teach the young guys kind of like the day-to-day. You know what I mean? It's hard. A 3-week training camp is hard. And it's long, and the days are you have early mornings and late nights as far as all the things that a training camp entails: your meetings, your walkthroughs, your practices, your weightlifting, your recovery sessions, your film sessions. So we're going to count on the older guys to bring the younger guys along, hopefully pretty quickly. And my emphasis to our guys has always been we want to get to a point where we're player-led. And I think over the last 18 months, 24 months, we're getting to that point. Now, you always want that to be better. But, you want your players leading the dance. And if your players can be leading the dance consistently in your day-to-day, the accountability, the core values, the coaches kind of guide the ship, but the players are doing the brunt of the work. So our goals would be to be consistent in our day-to-day, the way we conduct our business, being accountable, being on time, being at everything when we're supposed to be there, being prepared for practices, for meetings. The details matter. I tell our guys, don't get bored with the details. Sometimes it's hard to stay fully focused on the little things consistently because you're always thinking about the big picture, preparing for a good week 1 opponent in Seton Hill, preparing for a hard 10-game schedule within our conference where, the teams and the coaching and the talent is very good and very high in Division II. But I think our primary goal was always going to be embrace the process the right way, have intentional purpose within our day-to-day, and then focusing on the little things, because if we take care of the little things consistently, then the big things, right, your games, your wins, hopefully would take care of themselves. That's hard for 18 to 22-year-old guys. It's easier said than done. So I think our coaching staff, from a consistency standpoint, we're meshed together pretty well. The messaging can be consistent and in the same from the coaching staff, and then hopefully the messaging among our players, starting with our older guys down through, guy 151 on the roster, we're all kind of speaking the same language. And if we do that, then we'll be in good shape.
Thanks, Zach. Good luck this training camp, and we'll see you week 1.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
For Wheeling University Athletics, I'm Zach Ziegler.